Yo, 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 what's the deal, my people? It's your boy Jason Gooner, and we are back in the building. This time it is the tactical preview show. We have a big match coming up tomorrow in the CONCACAF Under-17 World Cup qualifiers. Jamaica will play their final group stage match, and of course, it's versus El Salvador. Of course, going into this World Cup, we knew more than likely it was going to be a one-off match for the World Cup based on the groups and how they were set up. We knew that going into this game, we would want to have the advantage in terms of being able to get a few results that will get us to the World Cup, and we were able to do so after that 10-1 win over Cayman and El Salvador only besting St. Lucia 2-0 in their game. So that kept the goal difference in our advantage. Jamaica at +11, El Salvador at +10. So we know going into this game that a point will be enough to get us into the Under-17 World Cup, which takes place this November in Qatar, right, people? But tonight's show is going to be about the tactical breakdown. On Jason Gooner TV, we like to dive a bit deeper into the football matches tactically, try to break down, analyze things. We have followed both teams in this tournament, and I've been following the Jamaica team prior to the tournament, even watching all of their games in the tournament they played in Mexico, the Torneo del Sol, and also catching a lot of clips from their practice matches that they would have played on the island against various Premier League teams and so forth. So we have a pretty good knowledge of the team at this point, and I want to give my keys to getting qualified to this World Cup based on what I've seen so far from the two teams. So I have both teams loaded up in my tactical board. I'm going to pull that on screen, and we're going to interactively show what I'm talking about in terms of the keys to qualification as far as I'm concerned. Definitely, we have to always remember, guys, we are on YouTube, right? And this is a YouTube platform. This is the YouTube platform, I should say. On YouTube, there's a couple of ways you guys can really help me out. The first way, like the video, people. I don't really take a lot of time during the video to ask you to like it, but please, people, remember, that's basically how you show your respect to the channel. Just like the content. Of course, you can also help me out by sharing the content. If everybody that views it shares it one time to one place, you never know how far the reach of the video can go. And I, for one, think that more people need to see this content, because you guys know that it's always research-based, and it's always going to try to paint a clearer picture for us to understand what's going on this football pitch. All right, people. So yeah, man, do me that solid, like the video, share the content, and of course, if you are new to the channel here for the first time, please do consider subscribing as well. Big up to all the content creators in the space putting in their work in their own way. Everybody has a voice and can use it effectively. Just make sure that that's what you are doing, using it effectively. Yes, people, that's what you need to do. So big up to Sean in the building early out. Manners and respect, my brother from Suriname. Honorary Jamaican, we know. Joseph Brown, bless up my brother, big up yourself. Always the real killer fan in the building. Yeah, man, that I tell you already, that thumbnail is excellent, Jeremy Lee, big up yourself. Yes, I was just over Reggae Boys and Girls Supporters Club. They had a live going on. I went and showed my respects over there. And yeah, glad to see you in the building, Jeremy Lee. Big up yourself. Continue putting in the work. And if you haven't already, people, go over there and drop a subscription as well. They're trying to get up to that 1,000 mark, and they're getting there slowly but surely, and they're going to get there. And you guys help them do so by heading over there and subscribing. CK, manners and respect, my brother. I was looking for you last night in the preview show. You probably were looking for it on a Friday night, but you don't know Chelsea and Brighton play today, so we have to get it in on the Thursday night. But big up yourself, same way, CK. Glad you're in the building tonight. If you don't know anything about this U17 team, you're going to learn tonight, all right? Yeah, man. So, of course, you guys know the match will be tomorrow night, 8 o'clock, people. So be sure to tune in. If you are in the Caribbean region, in the US, Canada, you're going to need to have a VPN to view it. It might be coming on television as well, but I'm not really certain. So I know the easiest way would be to just turn on your VPN, set it to anywhere outside the region. Europe, is preferable. And then you go to YouTube, CONCACAF channel, it will be right there live. If you don't turn on your VPN, you will not see the game in the CONCACAF YouTube. So don't even bother try. If you have any trouble doing that, I don't think I'm going to do a live stream, but if you need, I can throw the game in my Discord like I did the last time. My plan for tomorrow night is really to do a post-match and not actually do the live watch along tomorrow night of the game. I think a lot of other people are going to be doing the live already, and yeah, it don't make sense. We kind of split it up all kind of ways. Plus, I like to do the watch alongs starting about an hour before, and I know I'll be a little bit close in the time. I won't get to the studio until about 7:45. So because of all of that, I think I'm just going to do a post-match tomorrow, but I will create the thumbnail so you guys can like it from early out, and so that people can know that, yeah, we're doing a live show after the game, hopefully a celebratory live show. See? Yeah, man. Bless up One Drift. Yeah, man, we're there. So before we get started with the tactical board, what I wanted to do first was we know that both teams have played 2 games, and we have the ability to look at the statistics of those 2 games that they have played and try to see how they compare to each other. They have played these 2 same opponents as well, so you can really analyze. Now, of course, we've watched the game, but for those who didn't get the chance to watch it, at least maybe these statistics can paint a clearer picture for you of what's to expect from this El Salvador team. So the first thing I want to do is show you guys what happened when the 2 teams played Cayman. And of course, Cayman would be, by all accounts, no disrespect to them, the weakest team in the zone. So of course, Jamaica played them in their last game, and the score was 10-1. 2 goals from Jaquan Brown, 2 goals from Jamari Nolan, 2 goals from Seymour Reed. Owen Jump got on the score sheet as well. So did Zinedine McLean, Kadriana Marsh from the penalty spot, and Orel Miller as well off the bench got a goal. So yeah, very good output for the Jamaicans against Cayman. This was the statistics in this game. See if I can zoom it a little bit for you guys. There we go. So this was the overall stats of the game right here. So we had 68% possession to 32. We had 34 total shots in the game to 6. Cayman had 4 shots on target to Jamaica's 14. Cayman did also create 1 big chance. That would have been the penalty that they got and converted. And Jamaica had 12 big chances created in the game. So good output there. 10 corners. Remember scoring from 2 of them, and then scoring from another kind of wide free kick that was mishandled by the goalkeeper and put in. So, good there, scoring from a couple of set pieces. We completed 395 passes to their 157. Hit the woodwork as well once. Put in a lot of crosses, 27 to be exact. And, it was pretty much domination in terms of territory on the day. Jamaica did put themselves in a bit of problems, especially in the second half. And it was mainly down to our own, I guess you could say a bit of complacency coming in, the legs getting a bit tired, which means the mental also starts to go as well. And they just kind of let their foot off the gas a little bit towards the end of the game. That's really what caused the couple little opportunities and shots that the Cayman had. It was really all Jamaica's doing. So that's something that we'll have to clean up against this opposition come tomorrow night. Now, like I said, what I want to do is just kind of show you guys what the 2 teams did against the same opponent. So before I move on to Jamaica's other game, what I want to do is go now to when El Salvador faced Cayman and try to see if we can see any kind of trend in terms of the statistics against the 2 teams. So let me get that on the screen for you guys. Remember, keep liking the video, people. Share the content as well. Let people know we're live. This is the tactical preview of Jamaica versus El Salvador tomorrow night, all right? So this is the stats of the Cayman versus El Salvador game. This was their first group stage match. They won 8-0. They had 68% possession. They also took 34 shots. So I think that's identical to how many Jamaica had. 14 on target. They created 5 big chances, so Jamaica created a few more. But I think the telling stat here that I want to note is that they didn't give up a big chance on the day. Now, of course, the one big chance we gave up was a penalty conceded, which was contentious to say the least. But nonetheless, it was given. And as I said, those opportunities, those shots that I saw, because Jamaica did get outshot in terms of against Cayman. I think Cayman had about 6 shots, with 4 of them being on target. Again, really nothing happening for Cayman against El Salvador in this fixture. Just 1 shot total on the game and 1 corner. 498 passes, I think that's very similar to what Jamaica had. 177, that's about the same. And then, yeah, I think the main difference to me, the big chances created, we created a lot more, but they were a lot stingier in defense. Maybe that's just down to what I think is El Salvador, being a bit more sure around the back. Sometimes the decision making is a little bit better. They don't really put themselves under undue pressure. Sometimes in the Cayman game, I thought that we did that a few times, especially in the second half. So as I said before, we just need to clean that up. But, pretty similar in terms of the statistics. As I said, the thing that stands out to me, they didn't give up anything against Cayman, whereas we gave up, a few shots. And based on the opposition that they had, or based on how they were playing, I think if we stayed concentrated for 90 minutes, they wouldn't have gotten off any shots. So I think we need to clean that up a bit going into tomorrow's game. Now let's go to the second game that we saw both teams play, or the second team we saw both Jamaica and El Salvador play, and that would be St. Lucia. Now this game, I think, is the one that would, shed a bit more light on the situation in terms of the two teams, because I think St. Lucia would have provided more of a challenge to both teams. So El Salvador played them. This was their last game that just recently played. They beat them 2-0, right? And the statistics in this game go as follows. It was 55% to 45 in favor of El Salvador. They did get off 23 shots to 11 for St. Lucia. 1 shot on target for St. Lucia to 6 on target for El Salvador. So again, the shots on target, when you look at that from El Salvador in 2 games so far, they have only conceded 1 shot on target. So, I do have a mind of how we can break that cycle. And I'm going to get to that in the tactical part of the show. But I think what you have to honestly say is that they're very stingy in defense. They're very well organized, and they don't really give up many opportunities. You have to earn everything against them. They had 6 shots on target, 2 big chances created on the day. They had 5 corners to 3 for St. Lucia. They completed 228 passes to St. Lucia's 153. So one thing that stands out here, the possession was a bit closer than I thought it was going to be. But I do think that El Salvador is quite comfortable out of possession as well. I think they're fine getting into their block. They really do play more of a mid-press. They don't really high press so much. So I think they do give the opposition an opportunity to kind of build into the game. They really want to try to keep the game in front of them. From what I've seen of El Salvador, the way you can maybe get them out is turn them around and make them chase you. But I think they do a really good job of knowing their limitations and making sure that the game is played mostly in front of them. And they do a good job of screening the pitch enough to where those openings are never wide open, right? So it's going to be imperative that we are able to kind of shift that back line with some kind of speed so that we can really pull them apart. Because as I said, they're very, very organized back there. And I think that's evidenced in the fact that they really don't give up many opportunities in these games so far. But yeah, that was the pretty much overall stats. They created 2 big chances on them. They had double the shots, 6 on target to only 1 that they faced. But again, the passing stats to me a bit closer. And I think you're going to see the difference when Jamaica played St. Lucia. We had much more of a balance of the possession of the game. But you're also going to see where they didn't really give up many opportunities. Jamaica, on the other hand, did face a severe threat from St. Lucia, especially in that, not so much in the first half, but definitely in that second half. It was maybe a 1 or 2 times they got in behind in the first half that gave you the warnings of what could come. And in the second half, it actually did come. So let me show you guys now the Jamaica playing St. Lucia and try to compare those stats between what we just saw. Of course, Jamaica played St. Lucia in their first game of the tournament for them, and they ended up winning that game 3-1. And these are the stats from that game right here. We had 74%, so that's a big jump. I just showed you 55% for El Salvador. The shots, 21, I think they took 23, so pretty close there. 10 shots is about the same as they gave up against El Salvador when they played St. Lucia, but they had 3 on target against us to only 4 for us. So I thought we were quite wasteful in front of goal with opportunities, a bit wayward with the accuracy of the shots. That improved against Cayman, but I think that was highly down to having more time and space to take the shot. Typically, you're going to be more accurate. I don't think St. Lucia afforded us the same amount of space, and most of the opportunities were under duress, getting pressured, not really wide open taking shots, right? We did create 4 big chances on the day, so that's good. And they only had 1 big chance created. I think there were some other half chances that were really close to that line of a big chance, but they only registered 1. We had 11 corners to their 4. The passing, again, a big discrepancy compared to what we saw with El Salvador playing this team. 408 passes completed to only 94. So that was I think this Jamaica team, quite different in some aspects to what some of the other Jamaican teams we have seen in the past. I do think that they do place an emphasis on possession, and they have decent patience as well when they're building up. Something that we don't always see from Jamaican teams. I think at times we get frustrated if we're not penetrating, and then we end up going long, which definitely lessens the chances of that pass being completed. So I think this team does a good job of mixing it up. I'm not saying they don't go long ever, but I think that they're completely fine recycling and trying the other side of the pitch, just giving their team a chance to really get that picture right before they go forward. And also that helps against the counter. But we did see in the St. Lucia game, most of the chances that St. Lucia created were on the counter, and that's evidenced by the high possession that we had. So the fact that they were able to get 3 shots on target with so little possession, that's something that we really have to watch. Now, I think a part of why I like doing these tactical previews, I'm going to try to make sense of why we saw that so much in the St. Lucia game, and why I think with the tweaks that I saw the coaching staff make in the second game, I really feel like, that had something to do with us being a little more effective as far as on the counter. Of course, St. Lucia provided a much different threat to what Cayman brought, but I still feel like just how the numbers looked when we were getting countered in the second game, it looked a lot better. I thought in the second half, when we lost our concentration, we got a bit stretched, and we weren't really looking like that throughout the rest of the game. So I'm just hopeful that that was really down to just a little complacency creeping in. We're up 7-0, 8-0, 9-0. That's bound to happen. And I think we did get a bit stretched and lose our discipline a little bit too much in that second half, but not enough to really cause much problem, as you know. But this was the starting lineup in the first fixture when we faced St. Lucia. We had Justin Murray in goal. He was the captain. At right back, we had Damarley Williams. Centre backs were Kai McLean and Jabbar Johnson. Kieran Smith was our left back. Owen Jump played in the CDM role. Then we had basically 2 8/10s, Giovanni Taylor and Raekwon Campbell-Dennis. Then on the right-hand side, starting out, we had Axel Grimaud. On the left, we had Cadriano Marsh, and up front, we had our talisman, Seymour Reed. Now, this was the starting lineup that I pretty much would have predicted going into the game. The only thing that was different as far as what I was thinking would happen was I thought that the coach would give the start to Alexander White. He had been the one pretty much starting most of the games, I would say, leading up to the tournament. And when you looked at the quote-unquote first team from that Torneo del Sol in Mexico, Alexander White was a part of that. So, Damarley Williams was getting a bit of time as well. So I can't say it was a huge shock, but that's the one position where the coach went with something different from what I predicted. Pretty much everything else I pretty much called, but that was the one change that Altamont Butler made. Now, in that first game, Jabbar Johnson, probably going into this tournament, the center back that I had highest hopes for, to be honest, based on what I saw in the tournament in Mexico. I thought he really had a substandard game for his standard that I've seen him set so far in these camps and in these practice matches. I thought he was a bit anxious on the ball. He kept trying to find Marsh with that long diagonal. It wasn't really coming off. He maybe connected 1 out of maybe 7 or 8 of those opportunities, and for whatever reason, he just didn't seem to get his legs under him at all during the game. I thought McLean was a bit better than him, but not necessarily his best either. I thought both centre backs really had a warm time with that striker from St. Lucia, Chevon Byron. And I remember saying that, after watching El Salvador play Cayman, their number 9 had a similar build to Byron, and he could pose a similar threat. Now I'll get to that once we get to the tactical board as well. So in the first game, I thought players that stood out for me, I thought Kieran Smith played really well. Perhaps maybe got caught out a bit too high up the pitch at times and put Johnson and McLean under a bit of pressure. But I thought going forward, he was excellent. His passing accuracy, his ability to break lines with the passing as well, and just his overall play was really good. I thought Raekwon Campbell-Dennis, number 6, did an excellent job on his set pieces. I thought he also provided good open play action as well. Picked up a yellow card in that game, which had me worried about his playing in the Cayman game, just because I thought he'd be crucial in any kind of fixture we have against El Salvador. So we'll look at the next team lineup and see if the coach agreed with me. Cadriano Marsh and Grimaud, I thought in the first half, you could tell that they had the beating of their player, but we weren't really getting them the ball in the right areas, I thought, to really make them effective. But of course, Marsh created the first goal, beating his man down the line, putting in a cross, which was mishandled by the keeper, and Seymour Reed was there to clean it up. Then at halftime, the coach made 2 subs. Axel Grimaud, who I think was going into this tournament with a bit of a sickness bug going around, had his flashes in that first half, but you could see his final touch wasn't quite there. But I do like the player Axel. But then coming in for him at halftime was not Nolan, Dario White, and also Giovanni Taylor came off, and Jamari Nolan came on for him. And anytime you're a coach and you make 2 subs and the 2 subs score the goals to give you a 3-0 lead, you definitely feel like a genius, and that's basically what happened. Dario came on, was flipped through by Seymour Reed, a nice play over the top, and he didn't even take a touch, just ran onto it and finished well to the far post with a low drive to make it 2-0. And then Kieran Smith again overlapping up on that left wing, got the ball in space on the left and picked a nice pass to the top of the box to Jamari Nolan, who took a nice control out of his feet and just went for it. And he definitely connected with that one, beating the keeper just for pace. And that made it 3-0. So we were cruising at that point. But that actually ended abruptly. The coach did make another sub in the 72nd minute. That was Earl Dennis coming on for Raekwon Campbell-Dennis in midfield. And that basically shored up that midfield a little bit in terms of it looked as if, Dennis really went to partner jump, and it kind of turned into a 4-2-3-1 after that point. But the threat was still in behind, and Jabbar Johnson misplayed a long pass, miscommunication with him and Murray as well. I have to speak on him in this particular fixture. In the first half, he was on a borderline to get a red card. He left his box, really got into no man's land outside the box, and when the player chipped it around him to get around him to head towards goal, Murray took him outside the box, and he was given a yellow card. Now, there were some covering players in the middle, but it was a close decision. It could have gone the wrong way for Jamaica, but he got away with that one. And then similarly in the second half now, I think due to that first half play, he was a bit reluctant to get off his line to really claim that ball when Johnson was trying to shield. Miscommunication there. Johnson wasn't strong enough, and Byron, the Mount Pleasant youngster, he got around him to tap in to make it 3-1. And then, there are a few more little situations happened after that as well. Jamaica definitely could have had another goal at the end as well, but before that, St. Lucia definitely did start to cause some problems. Now, we saw Jaquan Brown come in for Jabbar Johnson late in that game, and immediately you could see that his recovery pace and strength was something that was needed. And I think also with Brown being a left-footed player, it just kind of gave a better balance in terms of passing out the back as well to end that game. So I did like what I saw there from that partnership, and clearly the coach did as well, because in the second game, Jamaica, when they faced Cayman, where is it? Let me go back one more. There we go. All right, so this is the next game now, people. This is the lineup for the second game. So we can see what changes the coach made. Now, as you can see, Justin Murray kept his place in goal. Damarley Williams kept his place at right back as well. Then we have Kai McLean. Again, he was the captain on this day. Then Jaquan Brown got the start for Jabbar Johnson, chipping in with 2 goals from set pieces. Zinedine McLean got the start over Kieran Smith. He got a goal from a set piece as well. Then Owen Jump started out, and really and truly, it was Dennis playing deeper and Jump a little bit more advanced in this game, is what I saw. Jamari Nolan got the start over Gio Taylor and provided 2 goals playing the entire game. Dario White started this game over Grimoire, and so did Kadriana Marsh. Marsh getting a goal from the penalty spot, and Seymour Reed as well up front, getting a perfect 10. He had 2 goals and I think 3 assists out of those, so 5 contributions out of the 10 goals. So that's the type of output you want from your striker. So this was what the coach went with in the last game, people. We did have a sighting of the backup keeper, John Stedman. He got the last 15 minutes or so. And yeah, there's some things that I saw in his game that I might like a bit more than Murray. I know Murray has been the number one for time, but yeah, I just worry about him coming off his line. He just doesn't seem to have the confidence to come off his line with any authority, especially what happened the first time he came off his line in this tournament. I think that has scarred him a bit. So I don't know. It might be a bit of a crazy thing to do, but I just like the skill set of Stedman. So you'll see in the tactical preview when I get that board up what I would go with in this last game. But the back line looked good in the last game, I must say. I still feel like Alexander White, I don't know, the sample size of what I've seen, I kind of like him a bit more at right back than Damarley Williams. Damarley Williams is good though, he's serviceable. I wouldn't be shocked if he played again from the start. But I think either way, we have 2 decent options at right back, Alexander White and Damarley Williams. As I said, I think Dennis, from what I saw, was playing a bit deeper than Jump was. So I think these 2 would be switched basically if I was really putting the lineup on the screen. But I think a lot of these players would have played their way into the starting lineup, and that's going to be shown coming up soon. So the one player that we didn't see in this game was Raekwon Campbell-Dennis. I think that's going to be the real choice in midfield. And also for me, that right back and left back slot is going to be a heavy debate, and also the goalkeeper. So what I want to do now, people, since we've kind of familiarized ourselves with the teams, and I will get to El Salvador as well, because we're going to put them on the screen as well. So let's now get the tactical pad up and gunning. Make sure you guys are liking the video. When I wasn't seeing it, Jaja, my bad. I think the change bring Johnson out and Brown in helped. Absolutely, it did. That's a fact. Even though Johnson might be better on the ball, I honestly just don't trust him in 1v1s and overall defensively. And the thing is, from what I saw, Brown is good on the ball. He have good zip on him past them. He break lines, he play the ball on the ground a lot. He don't really go. And when him go long, him accurate. So I never have no issue with Brown. Even the foul that he got for the penalty. I don't know if he needed to go to ground to make the challenge, but he did go to ground and it was clean. And I just feel like the ref was just ready to call a penalty. You know, if you ask him about that penalty again, he would probably tell you it was a bit quick. The trigger was quick to call that. Bless up, Float. What go on? Why you say really? What me say? Yeah, Taliban star. I should have looked star. I never know when I never there see it. You know, must did I see it at some point. And this whole time when I not see it, rough. All right, well, we'll see this now. So let me share this now. Tactical pad. All right, and I see that? Yeah, all right, good. And I see that. So let me sort out this now. Yeah. See, look better. Okay, let me see it. All right, cool. All right, so let's get the tactical pad up and running now. I have the teams loaded in as I was telling you. So I'll go through and pick the team then, people. So in goal, and this is my team, people. You can beat me all you want in the comment section. In goal, we have Janai Stedman. He hasn't started a game yet in the tournament, but I'm telling you, his little cameo that I saw, some of the things that was making me very nervous about the other keeper. Yeah, we feel better about it. So, like his command of his box a bit more. I think he's a bit more nimble as well off his line. Definitely, I think Murray might have a better passing range than him, but I feel like the way El Salvador play, we won't need Stedman to really be going long. He just needs to find the center backs who both are comfortable on the ball. So I'm okay with Stedman starting this game. Like I said, it's a long shot. The coach might not want to change the goalkeeper in the last game, but I liked his assuredness when he had to come off his line against Cayman. One time the player was in on goal, he came and just got the ball off his foot, didn't think twice about it, just went, got it. He just looked a bit more decisive off his line. So that decision making in that split moment, I trust him a bit more just based on what I saw. So I'm gonna say Janai Stedman, the Stets goalkeeper, I would start him in this last game. The centre backs, I think, picked themselves again. Kai McLean, who was the captain in the last game, as long as his concentration stays on point, he's a very, very solid defender. I'm going to say Jaquan Brown as well. This youngster, I believe he's a Portmore youngster, left-footed, so I like the balance of the right and the left footer there. And I think his athletic ability, his recovery pace, if we do get into trouble, he can bail us out. Definitely looks to be a threat from set pieces as well. Definitely a hawk when it comes to getting to that ball in the air. So I like that. So that's my centre back pairing, Jaquan Brown and Kai McLean. At left back now, this is a tough decision because I really like the way Kieran Smith played against St. Lucia. I remember JD was saying, boy, he couldn't really make out if they were playing a back four or not because Smith was so high up the pitch. But I think that's just his skill set, and the coach, if he plays him, doesn't mind him to get involved in the attack. And he has the recovery pace and the motor to get up and down as well. I also would say if he does start, I trust Brown a bit more in that space to cover for him. He looks to be a little bit quicker than Jabbar Johnson. A bit stronger as well. But to be totally honest, I really did like the look of Zinedine McLean as well. For one, he's another tall player, similar to a centre-back, but has the technique and the technical ability to play in tight space as well. So, you lose a little bit because I think Kieran Smith is a little more comfortable, more attacking. But I feel like Zinedine is accomplished enough to where you don't lose so much. And we have to remember that a draw is enough. So I'm going to go with the one to me that looked a little more solid defensively, and that's Zinedine McLean. So I think he keeps his place from the last game for me personally. Now, on this right-hand side, of the two players, I feel like it looks like Alexander White is a little bit better at defending, and Damarli Williams might be a little bit better going forward. So it just depends on the balance you want. You're already going with a left back that, yes, he can get forward, but really and truly, he's a really good defender, right? Do you want to have both sides like that? Because you know, again, a draw is the result that is okay for us. Or do you think that it would be better for us to, like, just solidify that back line with the 4 best defenders possible? Just because I think the coach is going to keep this one a bit more consistent. He's trusting Damarli right there at the right back. So I'm going to say that's what the coach is going to go with. You always know that you have Alexander there. If it's not working out, maybe you let Damarli start the game, and as his legs go, you have Alexander to come on for him. I'm totally fine with that. So I will say that's the back 4 and the goalkeeper that I would go with tomorrow. Janai Steadman in goal, Jaquan Brown and McLean as the centre backs, Zinedine McLean at left back, and Damarli Williams at right back. Let me check in with the chat and see what go on. Yo, Owen, where you say, bro? There, tactical preview for the big World Cup match tomorrow, big up. RR, every time, bro. All right, so that's, to me, the back 4 I would go with. We'll see if the coach agrees with me. The goalkeeper is a touchy one, because I think some people are going to say the continuity of Murray keeping. Remember, he was the captain in the first game. As I said, I've been watching a lot of the games, and Murray typically is the first choice. But there's some aspects of his game that worry me. And I feel a bit more secure with Steadman around there, I'm telling you. But let's see if the coach agrees with me come tomorrow night. Taliban said that looks good. All right, cool. So let me now get into the midfield people. So for me, the big decision is this. I think young Nolan played himself back into the team. I think what he brings, that drive, linking up with, as a good understanding with Seymour, he'll be the one probably with the most license to push forward into the box out of the midfielders. I would say Jamari Nolan is going to keep his place. Now, for me, the rest of the midfield is going to come down to 3 players. 3 players, because I think Nolan is going to play the spot where the coaches would typically put Taylor as the closest midfielder that gets involved with the striker, right? So with that being said, it's going to come down to Earl Dennis, number 14, Owen Jump, number 19, and for me, number 6, Raekwon Campbell-Dennis. Now, the 2 Mount Pleasant lads, Dennis and Jump, definitely you can tell that they kind of play with each other at club level. There is a bit of a synergy between them. You can see it. Earl won the ball in midfield, immediately looked up and saw Owen Jump and played him in, and Jump at the top of the box made a nice finish. Now, I remember after the first half of the last game, I was saying that it seems as if both of them want to play the same position. Jump didn't really look as comfortable going forward. And then he shut me up in the second half with that neat finish, and looked a little bit better in the second half, I must say, in that more advanced midfield role. But for me, in that first game against what is the better opposition that we faced, I thought Raekwon Campbell-Dennis stood out in that midfield in this kind of number 8/second number 10 role. So I'm going to put him back in the midfield, Raekwon Campbell-Dennis. And then also, of the 2 players, I thought I like Earl Dennis. Maybe he's a little bit more aggressive in the tackle than Owen Jump. But for me, Owen Jump just reads the game. I like how he just reads the game. So while Earl might be the more athletic one of the 2, I'm going to go with the player, because we have athletes all over the pitch already. So Campbell-Dennis and Jump, a little bit more diminutive, but I think both of them make up for it with how they think and read the game. So I'm going to go with this midfield 3 of Jump playing the CDM, Campbell then is a bit more advanced, and then Nolan as that, secondary striker slash midfielder when we're out of possession, right? So that's how I think it will kind of shake up on the pitch. And then you have the front three or the two wide midfielders and the forward, depending on how you want to. Of course, the graphic that they've been showing is the 4-1-4-1. So that's pretty much what it looks like when they're defending. Now, of course, when they're attacking, they kind of move around a bit. Now, for me, Dario White didn't start the first game, but I think he has really earned his position as far as that right-sided midfielder or the left, because, there's a lot of movement that can happen between the wingers. Now, on the other wing, I think it's between probably Axel and Cadriano Marsh. And to be honest, I think Cadriano has shown up a bit more, maybe not the output in terms of assists and goals, but you can tell when he does get the ball, pretty much can beat his marker when he feels like beating his marker. So I think both of our wingers can be really integral to us having success tomorrow if we are able to get them the ball in some 1v1 situations. I think they do have the ability and the capability to beat their markers 1v1. And of course, up front, really nobody else can start but Seymour Reed. Definitely looking like one for the future. Recently was training with the NYCFC first team in the preseason for this year. So that's one that we definitely need to look out for this season in the MLS next, and also hopefully getting some first team minutes as well. All right, so that is my starting 11 for tomorrow. Coach Butler, trust in this, my friend. I'm sure there might be one or two changes tomorrow when we see the starting lineup, but believe me, at some point you might see this 11 on the pitch. The one that I'm worried about, I think I might be in the minority when it comes on to making the goalkeeper switch, but that is what I would go with. Murray game need to be sharpened up more. Taylor is starting tomorrow, says Taliban. We shall see. We shall see. I would not take out Nolan for Taylor right now, and I don't like the balance of Taylor and Nolan. I think both of them want to attack and maybe aren't that in tune with the defensive duties like they should be. I think it will upset the balance. I think the way I have it now, the balance will be a little bit better. And we have to remember, guys, we don't need to win. So we don't need to be loading up the team with all the attacking midfielders. We need to have that balance there. And this is what I would go with. Is that number 5 the youngster from Spain? No. Actually, Zinedine McLean is now, I think he now resides in Florida, but he used to be a part of Phoenix when he lived in Jamaica. The guy from Spain is actually Aiden McFarlane. He's the one that has been at the Getafe Academy, number 20. He came on in the Cayman game. Didn't play in the first game though. But yeah, that is the team I would go with for Jamaica. Now, people, there's only 11 players on the pitch. There's another team. So I'm going to tell you guys based on what I saw, how I think they're going to line up tomorrow. So this is the goalkeeper, Cornejo. He will be in goal, the number 18. Not the biggest keeper in the world, but definitely has some cat-like reflexes. So I make a few good saves in this game, to be honest. Definitely not a keeper that is going to be that easy to beat. I think he definitely has that reflex that you need as a goalkeeper. I think the back four will look like this. Gutierrez will play right back. The center back pairing will be Guardado, very tall central defender, and Perla, the number 5. Cultured left foot, so I'm taking a lot of their free kicks, like direct free kick opportunities. Very strong, powerful shot. Good defender as well. I thought he was the better defender of the two. And then at left back, I think it will be Reyes. Also another nice left foot, took a lot of their set pieces, the corners and stuff like that, and wide free kicks. He was standing over a few of those. So I think that will be their back four again. I think this team hasn't changed up yet this tournament, and I don't think they will in this game either. So it will be Gomez in midfield with Hinojosa. Hinojosa is the captain. He's the one you'll see driving forward from midfield. Gomez kind of just sits in front of the back four for the most part. Then further up the pitch now, I think Torres will keep his place. He started out wide in the last game, but I have a feeling like he'll go centrally for this one. And then I saw Ramirez come off the bench in this game and look against St. Lucia. He looked a threat in his time on the pitch. He started the first game as well and had a good game. Espinoza had to come off in the last game, but I think he'll be good enough to play. He's another tricky winger that they have on this side. I think this three right here can cause problems for us. And then, of course, their talisman is Luis Tobar up front. So that is how I believe El Salvador will face us tomorrow. Of course, I think you could see Hernandez start again, but I thought he was a bit lackluster. I did like the looks of the number 11, Mason Barrias. So if Espinoza isn't good to go, you'll probably see him playing on the right-hand side. But I think if Espinoza is fit, he will start. I think Torres will keep his place. I think Ramirez came on and impressed. So I think he will take the game of, I think it was Hernandez, number 19, who started. I do think Ramirez probably gets the start in the game tomorrow, and Tobar will keep his place up front. He's the talisman for them. Now, what I noticed about El Salvador people, and I want you guys to listen up to this part. It's the number 3, right? No, the number 3 is okay. Who wore the number 3 in the first game? That player looked good and composed. Yeah, that's Kieran Smith. So Kieran Smith is actually from NYCFC. Yeah, if I'm not mistaken. Let me see something. Hold on, I'm going to download it already, you know, hit there. Yeah, so hold on, let me share this so you guys can see it right quick. Yeah, so you're talking about Kieran Smith. I watched them a few times when they came to Florida. I know their faces, but not familiar with all their names. Yeah. Yeah, Taliban. That's the main reason why I want to start Stedman. He just looked a lot more decisive in his decision making off his line, you know. More, it was making me nervous anytime he had to make that decision. I know that the coaching staff really likes his playing out from the back. But as I said, I don't believe that that's going to be something that's so necessary against an El Salvador team that in 2 matchups haven't really shown a propensity to high press. I feel like they're going to let us pretty comfortably play out of the defensive third. I think it's in the middle third and their defensive third where they start to try to win the football. They really and truly just focus on getting into their shape. As I said, they want to keep the game in front of them. They don't want to be chasing the game. So, maybe in the second half, when if they're in a unfavorable scoreline, they might take more chances. But I don't know if they're going to be doing that from minute 1. Let's see. Let me share this. All right, let me stop this for just a second. Let me share this. What is this? This small show. So right now, let me do this. I'll see you then. All right, so let me see. Jamaica, where are you? All right, so this is Jamaica team. So yeah, the number 3 you're talking about is Kieran Smith, New York City. Number 2, Alexander White, Sigma FC Canada. Janai Stedman, unattached. We know he played for Stetson in the Costa Cup. Kyle McLean, Inter Miami. Zinedine McLean, listed for Phoenix, but has moved to Florida recently. I forget the name of the club he's playing at. They played in that tournament, the Casa tournament, where the ISA team goes over to Florida. I know his team played the Casa team in the final, and I think his team won on penalties, I think. Or it went to penalties. I don't remember who won. Raekwon Campbell Dennis, he's at an academy in the States. Kadriana Marsh, he's at Inter Miami with Kai. Damarle Williams, a Cavalier FC player, also played for, I think, Excelsior in the Manning Cup. Orel Miller, unattached. I know he played for Glenmuir in the Costa Cup. Giovanni Taylor, JC, of course, Ballers Academy, but recently started playing for Arnett Gardens. I think he had a brace in his debut in the JPL. Seymour Reed, as I said earlier, New York City FC, trained with the first team this season. Jaquan Brown, it says done beholden, but the Jamaican local league transfer guru master, BAM Sports, I heard him saying that he plays for Portmore. So maybe they just didn't update that. By the time this was sent, he was maybe still at Dunbehold. And then I guess Justin Murray, he's Glenmuir's La Costa Cup keeper. Earl Dennis, he plays for Mount Pleasant. So does Jamari Nolan. Dario White plays for Portland Timbers 2 in MLS Next. Jabbar Johnson, he's at Inter Miami Academy as well, which, is that true? I thought he was NYCFC, but we'll work with what they said, but I'm pretty sure he's NYC too. Axel Grimaud, he's at Orlando City. Owen Jump at Mount Pleasant. Aiden McFarlane, listed as Cavalier FC from the Bahamas. I know he spent some time over in Getafe's academy over there in Spain. And then Damar Blair from Reno is the third goalkeeper. So that's Jamaica's full squad and where they play and everything like that. Some of them, the information is not quite up to date, but yeah. Travis Pesos and Mannings and Reno, exactly. I forgot that he was a Mannings keeper as well. Oh, his team did lose. Okay, there you go. Yeah, I knew it went to penalties, but I wasn't sure which one of the team them did win. All right, so let me get the tactical board back on the screen because I want to show you guys just a couple of things that I noticed with this El Salvador team that I think Jamaica could potentially exploit. All right, so first things first, El Salvador's team pretty much stayed the same except for a couple of attacking changes in this midfield three in front of the back four and the midfielders. Tobar played both games and the keeper and the back six started all the games. So I don't expect that to change. They have no yellow card or red card issues, so I think that will stay intact. Where the changes have come has been in this three. And based on the two games that I watched, these to me are the three most effective players I saw. Now, when we're looking at ways to exploit this El Salvador team, one thing that I noticed against St. Lucia is they had a lot more joy. Let me get a football on the screen here. Let me get a ball on the screen. All right. So when the ball would get into, well, first and foremost, let's push the team up the pitch a bit. So when they're in this posture, remember I said Ineosa does get involved. So he might be pushed up. Espinosa up the pitch. Ramirez up the pitch. And the team is pushed up. Right? So let's say they have possession of the ball. They're moving the ball around. Now we win the ball or it goes to the keeper. Now, what I noticed in the St. Lucia game, as I said, they do tend to drop off once they're out of possession. They want to get into their setup to try to screen off the play. Now, what I saw St. Lucia do that was effective, whenever they would play the ball into these areas and it would get to their left back, let's say, The winger on this side did a really good job of being an option wide, which would have this player push up. And the space that was exploited was always in this area back here. So what I would tell the Jamaican team, Kadriana Marsh does a really good job of having tactical discipline. He's usually an option here on this wing, hugging this touchline. I would tell Seymour Reed that the minute you see Kadriano go short and this player gets sucked here, I want you to be running this channel all game long. You see this player right here, Guardado, people? He's a big, tall center back, but guess what he can't do? He can't run. So when the game gets behind him and he's chasing, he's under immense problems. What this center back Perla did really well was notice when Guardado was in trouble. And anytime Byron from St. Lucia would get the better of this player, Perla was always there to clean it up. So they were able to stop a lot of the plays, but it was there. You could see the openings in this channel right here. And it all stemmed from getting width from this player on the wing, sucking this player up the pitch, which then would open up runners. Even the midfielders would make that burst into that space. And as I said, this player in space is not good for El Salvador. What we'll need to do then as well, Perla, as I said, did a great job of just covering for Guardado. That means this midfielder that's on the other side and Dario, whenever they see this play developing and Perla inching to this way, Dario needs to make sure that he's at least, almost to the middle of the pitch. But this channel, when Perla overcovers over to this side, that ball is on as well. So really and truly, Perla knows that Guardado needs help at times, and he cheats over this way a lot. Now, it worked out because I thought that the ineffective player for St. Lucia on the day, they had this right-sided midfielder. I think it was number 14, and he just was never really involved in the play like number 11. I think his name's Jermaine, and number 9, Byron, were. But the difference with Jamaica is I think you pick your poison both wings. Whereas St. Lucia's attack was heavily better on that left side with the number 11. I think Marsh and Dario are equally effective. And so what that's going to do is keep everybody on this back line a little more honest. Perla will know if I go too far, White one-on-one with Reyes is not good either. So I think for them, the key is going to be Hinojosa. He always wants to get involved in the attack. But I think against Jamaica, if he leaves Gomez on an island with our attacking threats going the other way, Nolan joining in as well, it's going to be too much for them to handle. Because like I said, anybody in space with Guardado is a mismatch. And Gutierrez, even though he's the right back, he ain't the fastest either. So this right side can be exploited, if you ask me. Anybody that watched El Salvador play, you could see that the left side was a bit stronger in terms of their defense. So I think that left side is going to be crucial for Jamaica. And as I said, Perla, he thinks he wants to do everything back there. And at times he was even on this side of Guardado trying to create, to block up plays. So we can kind of use that to our advantage. Seymour Reed, really target this number 17. I want you to target him, right? And Nolan, wherever you see Perla go, if he's covering too far this way, you're the one that I want to occupy that space, because Reed knows if there's two guys here, he knows that you are that free outlet. So Nolan, you need to be on point as well with your movement off of Reed's movement, and I think that we can get in that way. Now, on defense, this is where I've seen El Salvador look like they can hurt you. They do a really good job of getting their big striker Tobar the ball in these little half spaces for him to link up the play to the midfielders and the wingers. Hinojosa, incredibly effective in timing when he goes forward. Always seems to find the open space when he goes forward. So for me, that physical battle between these two players, Kai McLean and Brown and Tobar, we saw earlier in the tournament, McLean and Johnson struggle to contain Byron. Now, I think Byron has a bit more speed than Tobar, but I think Tobar might occupy some more intelligent positions in terms of his movement because he's not always dependent on running in behind. He also is going to, based on where this central midfielder is, find that pocket of half space to, as I said, get the ball, get turned, and then he's looking to play in one of his wingers. If Damarley steps up, he'll slip through this ball into this channel for Ramirez. And as I said, Hinojosa, Torres, all the other players do a good job of filling those lanes so that by the time he gets that crossing, Tobar does get into the box and you have the other runners coming in as well. So Tobar being controlled in those half spaces when they attack, I think is going to be crucial. As I said, he's comfortable running in behind as well, but I think he does prefer to play that big target role, get the ball to feet, and then he plays in his onrushing attackers, and then he gets into the box where he does his most damage. So I think in this game, there's going to be a crucial role to play by whoever the player is that the coach selects to play that CDM role, because he's going to have his head on a swivel and try to block that passing lane, because you want to be able to have, if Tobar, let's say, is drifted off to the right, you want, even if he gets that pass, he already has Kai behind him. Jump needs to be close enough to close that down, because most of their things go through him. He's going to touch the ball at some point and play somebody else in. So if we can block the supply to him and force maybe the players deeper in the field, like in the midfield area, to try to beat players off the dribble as opposed to using the football to beat us, that will be a plus. And as I said, the outlet that they look for a lot of the time is Tobar in the half space. Now, I think one thing we have to be wary of as well, the players that play out wide, and even Torres, they do have individual ability, and they are a bit nippy and quick and skillful. So we are going to have to be engaged very well in the 1v1s. I think that's why if I was the coach, I would go with Zinedine McLean on that left-hand side. Even though I love what Kieran Smith brings attacking, I just think that Zinedine looked a little bit more solid as a defender. And again, with us being able to have a draw to get to the World Cup, we have to be mindful of that and pick the team accordingly as far as I'm concerned. I think the players that we have up front, the Seymour Reeds of the world, the two wide players, Jamari Nolan, Dennis, they can supply more than enough attacking impetus. That balance in the back needs to be right, and that's why I've gone with this lineup. So those to me are the keys. Central defensive midfield, be wary of where Tobar is off your shoulder. Left side, right side, try to shade your positioning to block and screen those passes into him. Wing backs, 1v1s are going to be crucial. Really the only way I see them hurting us, because I would like to think we'll have a little bit more possession than them in the game, and also maybe a little bit more of the territory in the game. So I don't foresee the Reyes, the Gutierrez of the world being able to overlap as much as maybe they would want. So I think the 1v1s are going to be crucial. If you can handle your battle, make sure you win your duels, then I think we'll really limit what they have to offer moving forward. I don't see them having the threat in behind like we saw against St. Lucia. Tobar doesn't have that breakaway speed like Byron. And I think with the addition of Jaquan Brown, I feel a lot more safe with those over-the-top balls being able to be dealt with. Similarly, Zinedine McLean, we saw a few times they do like to play that long diagonal ball from Reyes or Gutierrez or even one of the center backs all the way to Espinoza or Ramirez. And even though Damarley is a little bit shorter, he's super athletic. So I trust him to read that football and get ahead on it. And Zinedine McLean is basically a center back playing left back. So it's going to be very hard to get it over his head into that space as well. So I think this is why I would go with this lineup right here. As I said, Earl Dennis played well in the last game. Nothing against him personally, but I just think Owen, to me, I just like him a bit more in that central defensive role than Earl, and I don't think they're going to go with two of them in this game. I think they're going to want Raekwon back in that midfield, and I think, as I said, a lot of people I saw Taliban said Gio going to start. I think that he's going to go with Jamari Nolan based on the performances we saw. Anybody in the chat, let me know if you've been following the team similar to me. Anything you would tweak about the lineup you see on the screen. Any players you think that I shouldn't be leaving out of the starting lineup. And also, why not drop a score for the team as well out of 10? What would you give this Jamaica team out of 10 in terms of the selections? And of course, some of you might not know the team enough to, comment on this on the lineup and give not a prediction, but give a tally of how much this team would get out of 10. But yeah, again, I'll read it out. In goal, the Stets goalkeeper Janai Stedman. The centre backs for me would be Kai McLean, who should be the captain on the day, I would say. Jaquan Brown, number 12. Then we have Zinedine McLean at left back. Damarley Dam Williams at right back. Owen Jump at central defensive midfield. Then in central midfield with him, I would have Raekwon Campbell Dennis, number 6, and Jamari Nolan, number 15. Then on the left side, I would have Kadriano Marsh. Right side, Dario White. And up front, Seymour Reed. That would be my starting 11 to get Jamaica to the 2025 U17 World Cup. Would have put Marsh a left back for this game and start the number 9 where Marsh there for Athletic. Okay. Oh, you would have put Marsh at left back for this game and start the number 9. Wow. No, I don't think Kadriano has a defensive bone in his body besides tracking back, really. And, I would not say to put Marsh at left back, especially because Javari, we have two good left backs. Kieran Smith and Zinedine McLean are both really good. So I would not move one of our best attackers to just play left back. No. And I don't think, and I think Orel, while he did good wide against Cayman, he did good wide against Cayman. He looks to me like an out and out number 9. I'm glad he got some minutes because Seymour could have easily get a break in the last game, but he came on and did his thing off the right and the left. But I think that was more to do with the opposition. I wouldn't be starting him wide in a game like this. But that's just my take on that, Javari. Bless up Boris Johnson. Wagwan, coach. Hope all is well, Have you been following the team? And what are your thoughts on the lineup that I've selected and things of that nature? And how do you think we can get this job done? Of course, we just need the point. That will be good enough for us. But, Jamaica already, we're greedy. So we want to beat them as well. But just remember that we don't have to. So, all is not lost if we don't get all 3 points in this game. A 1-1, a 2-2, a 3-3, a 4-4. All those results, a 0-0. All those results will get us to the U17 World Cup. And it will be our first World Cup on the male side since 2011 when the U17s qualified as well back then. And it will be our third appearance at the U17 World Cup after making it to the 99 U17 World Cup as well as the 2011. So we'd love to make it a third time for the U17s. I think that would be the first time that any age group or male or female team from Jamaica made it to the World Cup 3 times. So that would be a record as well set by the U17s. So yeah, people, I've pretty much gone through what I wanted to get through tonight on the program. We looked at the games played so far, kind of took a look at the stats to see how they compared between Jamaica and the teams they have faced, and El Salvador and the teams that they have faced. And we tried to make some sense of all of that. And then, of course, we went to the tactical board and broke down why I would start these players, why I think El Salvador will go with the team you see on the screen, and also some key factors I think that will help us to nullify the threats coming from El Salvador and also get the job done to get to this damn World Cup, people. Everybody, we just need to support the boys now. They have one more result to get. They've had a long journey to get here. Kudos to all the people involved with the team that were able to, at least let somebody like myself who, would love to see the progress of all of our teams. They put out the content that was able to let me follow along and even have the knowledge to even do a tactical show like this. So kudos goes to everybody involved there, all the social media work that was done in terms of getting to know the players, just staying aware of what they're up to. Really and truly, it does help somebody like myself who, prides themselves on having the knowledge base to be able to bring this type of content to you. Without the efforts of those people, it really wouldn't have been possible. So I want to give them all thanks and just a big up to all of them. And hopefully, I hope the JFF sees that, with a little bit of care, a little bit of time, you can see some different results. I mean, I know it wasn't perfect. There's some aspects of it that I would love to see improve, especially being able to make sure that we're seeing all the available talent, no matter where they reside. It was heavily weighted towards like this region, this go around. And I know that partly was because of the amount of camps that we tried to have. Clearly the amount of money that has to be spent to come from the other side of the world in Europe doesn't compare to coming from, say, the United States. So that's totally understandable. If we can't foot the bill for all these camps, somebody has to pay for this stuff. And to my understanding, a lot of the parents need to be thanked for their financial, the part they played financially in making sure that these players were able to have camps. So, as I said, it's not perfect, but we found a way to at least have a group of boys get together, try to, get the best from everywhere available. And this is basically what has come of it. And it's a good blend of different type of talent, from whether they're developed locally or, have gone overseas, born here, whatever the case is. They have put that all together, and you can see a cohesive unit playing in these games, which is very, very good. So big up to the coaching staff, Mr. Butler and his staff, Mr. Reynolds, Mr. Simon, all the physios that are there as well. Anybody that has been a part of this, big up to you guys. And, the finish line is right there. Let's just get it over the line. Peter Mystic, big up yourself. You said yesterday you were cautiously optimistic. Today you sound a lot more confident. Well, Peter, when I watch back the games, I kept seeing reasons to feel a bit more optimistic. One of the things that made me feel that way is, I think a part of the reason why we struggled a bit with St. Lucia was just the sheer physicality and speed of some of the players. And I'm not seeing the same type of physicality from the El Salvador team. Now, I will say that El Salvador is a lot more clinical in how they go forward. So it's not going to be all about them just trying to outrun us either. But I will say that I think we are equipped to deal with a lot of the things that they'll bring, as long as we stay concentrated. And with so much on the line for tomorrow, I don't think that concentration will be an issue for us. Nerves could be, so we'll have to manage that. But I think a part of the reason why we saw Cayman, and to a lesser extent St. Lucia, get so many opportunities was just a lack of concentration. Definitely in the Cayman game. I think St. Lucia was just had the tools that were required to cause us some damage. And I just feel like El Salvador, the way we got damaged against St. Lucia, I don't see them having the same type of personnel to do that type of damage in that way. They can damage us in different ways, but not exactly the way that we're getting damaged against St. Lucia. So I just feel like with El Salvador, we have some tools that I think they're going to struggle with. And if we can put those tools together at the right times, we should be able to carve out chances. And I do trust that number 11, Seymour Reed, if you give him enough opportunities, he will get the ball in the goal. So, yeah, I think we'll be able to score goals against this team. But I do think that we'll have spells in the game where we'll have to really defend, and the goalkeeper will have to make a few big saves. So I think it's going to be a good matchup, a dog fight. I don't see El Salvador giving up at any point, no matter what the score is. So yeah, we'll have to be on it. We'll have to be on it, and I trust that we will be. I think the extra day of rest will help. We've been playing with 1 day rest so far. We got 2 this time. So we should be rearing to go. And I have full faith in the boys. Now it's just time to go out there and do it. So you guys, I won't really do any like score predictions or anything like that tonight. I'm really just going to cut off the show now. I think we've gotten out all the information we needed to. So I want to say big up to everyone that tuned in and dropped their thoughts in the comment section. We really do appreciate it. Hope you guys have done me the favor of smashing up the like button while you have been here. Let's see what we're looking at there. Yeah, so let's try to get the likes up to 50 likes, people. That would be greatly appreciated. And of course, if you did not catch the show live, please do watch this one. I think that it was very informative. You should learn a bit about the other team that we're going to face tomorrow as well, so you can know what to look out for from them. And also, you learned a bit about what I think we can do to get the job done tomorrow. So all the best to the boys tomorrow. Everybody in the camp, big up on yourself. I hope you guys are getting some good shut-eye right now with no issues, not too much nerves the night before, and you can get some proper rest so that you're rearing and ready to go in the morning, or not the morning, but in the tomorrow evening, 8 o'clock. So yeah, look out, people. I will not, as I said, be doing a live watch along. I'll probably be just supporting some of my other fellow content creators and their various watch alongs and whatnot. But I'll definitely be back to do a post match. You see, I have the teams loaded up in the system, so we will go ahead and show you guys on the tactical board what we saw in the game. And hopefully, people, we are all here dropping the Jamaica flags, celebrating another trip to a Youth World Cup. All right, people, so thanks again, as I said before, for tuning in. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. And I am Jason Gooner. This is Jason Gooner TV. And one more game, boys. You got this one, people. Until then, big up on yourself and thanks so much for the support. Bless.